The town of Moonville is a ghost town in southeastern Vinton County. Little remains of this former mining community except a few foundations, a cemetery, and an abandoned railroad tunnel, which is the subject of numerous ghost stories. In the mid-1800s, the Marietta and Cincinnati Railroad was pushing through southeastern Ohio to reach Cincinnati. Along its route and in the more remote sections were the towns of Zaleski, Hope Furnace Station, Ingham Station, and King Station. Central to these small coal mining towns was also a small community mainly made up of two families, the Coes and the Fergusons. It was called Moonville. Nearby, the railroad company built two trestles over the winding Raccoon Creek and gouged a tunnel called the Moonville Tunnel through one high hill. Walking the tracks was incredibly dangerous, and it was made even more hazardous by the trestles in the tunnel. One trestle stood over Raccoon Creek less than 50 yards away from the tunnel mouth. Over 21 people were killed on or near the tracks here. The last reported fatality was in 1978 when a 13-year-old girl fell off the trestle as a train passed over it. By the turn of the century, the coal mines slowly started to be used up and closed down. The last family left town in 1947, and by then the town itself was abandoned. By the 1960s, all the buildings were gone, and there was little to mark the site other than the Moonville Cemetery, the tunnel, and foundation stones found near the tracks. There are several legends surrounding this Moonville Tunnel, including several tales of ghosts that allegedly still haunt visitors to this day. The legends include 4 different ghosts: the engineer, the brakeman, the lavender lady, and the bully. The engineer is the ghost of Theodore Lawhead, an engineer for the Marietta and Cincinnati Railroad Company, which began to haunt the tracks after this train collided head-on with an oncoming train in the 1880s. Visitors have seen a ghostly figure holding a lantern while walking along the tracks and through the tunnel. The legend of the brakeman is believed to be the ghost of a drunken young man who was working on a train as a brakeman. The young man had consumed too much liquor one night and fell asleep in the tracks. He was run over, and his ghost continued to haunt the tunnel to this day. The legend of the Lavender Lady is that visitors of the Moonville Tunnel have seen this thin, elderly woman walking along the trail. Shortly thereafter, she disappears and the scent of lavender begins to fill the air. It is believed to be the ghost of Mary Shea, who was killed on the tracks at the far end of the tunnel. And finally, there is the legend of the bully, and the bully is believed to be the ghost of Baldy Keaton. Baldy Keaton was a resident of Moonville, and the legend says that Baldy was a man who liked to fight when he got drunk. The legend also says that one of Baldy's tactics was to bear hug his opponent. When Baldy was at the local saloon, he decided to fight, and a group of men kicked Baldy out. Later, he was found dead on the tracks. Many believed it was a murder. The legend now says that the ghost of Baldy Keaton stands above the tunnel and stares at the approaching visitors. He will sometimes throw pebbles down at the visitors below. The legend of the bully was also told by young mothers to their children, and the mothers also used to tell their children to not stay out at night or else the bully would get them. With the town long gone, the train traffic continued to increase on the single-track line. In 1973, the B&O merged with the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway and the Western Maryland Railway to form the Chessie system. Train traffic would double with as many as 14 trains a day. Railroad workers called this line the most lonesome, desolate 8 miles of track between Parkersburg, West Virginia, and St. Louis. They hated the area because it was so isolated and the trains seemed to slow up without warning. The line was dark, meaning it was unsignaled, between Parkersburg and Cincinnati, and traffic was governed by train orders. In 1981, a signal was erected at Moonville, and the railroad said that if a railroad worker needed to stop a train, they had to use the signal, not a flashlight or lantern. Engineers and conductors were ordered not to go into emergency unless the signal was red. In June 1985, CSX announced that the line between Cumberland, Maryland and Cincinnati would be reduced to secondary status, and the last scheduled freight train passed through Moonville in August of that year. Trains continued to run until the line was abandoned and the rails pulled up in 1988. The area remains accessible and the old rail bed provides access to the tunnel. Today there is a rail trail in place of the former tracks, and you can visit Moonville today. Come and check to see if the legend is true. Welcome to Moonville.